Hey, video game fans, this is Matt back for some more 7 Days to Die. I got a little bit of an update here. This is going to be a fairly short video. Um, I'm going to do a home update. It's been about a month, about 5 days short of a month since my last recording, and I have been spending a lot of time sprucing up the old homestead. Actually, I pretty much learned how to do almost everything I needed to in this game, but the one thing I hadn't done anything with was paintbrushes. And now I finally took it upon myself. I just thought all it was going to do was, change a color. I didn't realize that the thing had an entire, basically it's a texture applier, not a color applier. Um, Not that that was anything groundbreaking, but it was like, oh, finally I can make things look the way they're supposed to look. When I replace a ductwork, I can make it look like ductwork. And I knew there had to be something in the game. I just hadn't delved around. I mean, it wasn't exactly a high priority when you're in the zombie survival mode. You don't really care so much about the prettiness of it all. I've got to turn this down. Thought I had all this. Oh, I didn't apply it. That's why. Got this wind blowing in my ear and it's driving me crazy. Much better. So, since the last video, I have done both physical and cosmetic improvements to my base, to my Crack-a-Book base. I've done some things with my police station base too, but I've spent more time here. I went back there and did a few paint things. I changed the look of some of the wooden buildings that I built, put shingles on things, patched a few um, replace things that I had replaced with like concrete. I gave them a little facelift. I turned it from looking like concrete to looking like cinder blocks, little stuff. But this base has gone through significant changes since the last time, and I wanted to go through them. The sinister looking spikes are relatively, it's just cosmetic. It's just they're just concrete blocks that have been shaped to look like spikes, but it does look pretty imposing. You don't take damage or anything from poking up against them, unlike walking into the spikes. Let's start with the outer perimeter. Um, I was pretty happy with my defenses already, but I had an idea to secure them, or at the very least, make them a little more, make my base a little less approachable to the zombies because I was getting tired of them getting within the gun range and beating on my walls. So I wanted to do something to slow them down a little bit. So immediately I thought, well, let's put a little electric fence around the whole place, which is what I did. Starting from here, which is wired up, it basically goes around the perimeter of the place. And if you notice, I've also put in little rows of metal spikes as well. So after they get through the electric spikes, then they're forced to walk through these things as well. So it's a way of discouraging them from going through certain pathways. Since you can drive through them, if and when I ever decide to make this garage door more functional for a vehicle, I decided to make it nice and wide. And I can drive through those without worrying about damaging anything. But I just spaced them out into certain. I don't know what felt right. I started off with like 6 spaces between, and then dropped one. But then it kind of got, well. Then this doesn't really line up very well. It worked really well on this side of the building, and it worked okay in the parking lot. I decided not to go all the way out to the street. I didn't want to go around all the signs and stuff, so I just kind of kept it straight. I had to destroy the car that was out here because it was going to get in the way. Um, I decided to put a couple of extra metal spikes. I'm about to build some more. Mainly because from a distance, when you're driving the vehicle, sometimes it's a little hard to pick up on where the little posts are, and it's a little easier to see the spikes. Because if I'm going to drive through it, you can't. You can drive through the wire, but you can't drive through the spike, the stakes. It'll damage the stakes. So I wanted to make it easier for me to, when I was in high speed driving at night, I didn't want to have to guesstimate where the little posts were. So I made it a little more obvious. Completely walled off that side. All right, so I got, basically I brought it all the way out to here because I wanted to make it kind of in, not quite in alignment with my back wall, but in front of it. I thought it was going to work really smoothly, and then it turned out you can't place anything on these spaces without removing the dumb concrete uh, outer wall or whatever you want to call it, the little edger that's on here. So I had to, knock that out. Then I could drop these in, and it was fine. Just a little annoying. Um, that's the only outer defense changes that I've made. I haven't added any new guns. Um, but between the fences and the spikes, it's made it a little more secure at night. I don't have them. They don't reach the wall as often as they did before, which is something I like. Still don't have any kind of a ladder system set up. I haven't figured out exactly. It's got to be on this side. I haven't figured out exactly what I'm going to do with it, but I've done a lot of work. So I gave let's just start with the main room. This room I haven't done near as much with. I added more carpet and replaced some of the corrugated metal with some other textural, things. But other than that, the room is pretty much the way it was the last time I recorded. I'm gonna do something with the cobblestone wall there. I'm probably gonna update it to concrete, or else just give it a cosmetic change. I don't know. I still want it there. I just don't like it doesn't really work with the room. I put in a second fireplace, a second campfire, because I'm always finding myself I hate waiting for things to cook, and cooking 4 things when I want to cook 12, or well, at least now I can cook 8. So nothing much changed in the main room. I kind of like my main work room. I am using some of the lockers now as overflow storage. I put like my extra medical stuff in this last one. So if I ever come back from a run and I'm short of something, I can just come in and refill some of my stuff. I'll get to my other building later. Uh, the restroom building, I fancied it up a lot. I put in some tile. I made the floor look like it has tiles. I gave the little box that was here a nice little cabinet sheen, as well as a front, so it looks a lot more like what you would see in a normal, kitchen or a bathroom cabinet. Put in a little. It's actually the countertop, but I can't put a wall here because this sink takes up the block space. Um, I made these so they stick. This is considered a block. This is considered a block. That was considered a block, and in order for me to put the sink in here, I had to knock the wall out. So, and you can't just put it in the reverse either because it changes the direction of it. But anyway, in addition to that, I also put drywall texture on some of the interior constructed parts, and I put some plywood. I think is what it's called. It's the texture for plywood on the other part, so it makes it look like it's unfinished. Like, well, we're working on it, but we still need to put the last coat of plaster on. I just before I started recording, one of the things I wanted to do is get some nighttime spotlights up, so I just built these pillars and put spotlights around the place, so at night it lights up the surrounding area. I've got 3 over here. I got another one on the front right corner and another one on the side. In order to do that, well, let's back up. So in the last video, I only had one one solar cell hooked up, and it was grossly insufficient for the guns that I had added. I guess I have added guns since the last recording. I realize it's been that long ago. I've added a bunch of additional firepower, which required more power than I was capable of generating. So I had to build a second a solar bank. They're doing okay in the daytime. As you can see, the maximum output is just above what it's using. So daytime wise, that's doing fine. This one, I just added the lights and they're all hooked up to this. So I'm going to have to upgrade some of these 4s to 5s, but that's fine. I'm not too concerned about it right now. That was several weeks ago, really, when I made those updates. This week I had to, with the addition of the electric fence, I needed an entirely new power source. So that's why I had to build this third one, because as you can see, these are already pretty much tapped. When I built this, it converted a few of the guns and a few of the lights and a few of the things away from the power that these were using, so now they were a little more efficient. That's why this one was able to take on additional Um, some of those spotlights I think went through this, but it's still okay. The ones that are in that one are the problem. And this one is also under, it's been under power since I built it. I've been working harder and harder to get some more higher power solar cells, but it takes a lot of money to buy those, even when you're using barter discounts. But right now, that's pretty much the only thing this thing's powering. Um, oh, I should go get my wrench. I should show you how the power system here is currently distributed. So, the number one power bank, the one that's up on the left side as I'm viewing it here, comes into hit to the this battery station. This cord goes up to here and it basically lights this. It lights the bathroom, um, and the other cord goes out and pretty much powers. Yeah, it's this entire side. It powers all the stuff below and down, and it powers this and over, and all of the guns that I have set up on this side. It was powering the guns on the left side, or this side of the building. I guess this is the south side of the building, and that's why this is currently powering. This is hooked up to this little battery bank, and it powers. Whoop, it powers up this gun here, covering that angle. This gun here, covering that angle, and it's been given the gun that's down below there, as well as the three guns that are down here, and the ones that I added over here on the wall, which extend the range of my gun protection on the in this big parking lot over here, as well as that last gun out there. It's also everywhere that was nearby one of these spotlights. I just tapped into it and put another one in. So that's why it's a little underpowered now, is because I put in these three spotlights and they're all powered from that thing. Each one of these I think is 5. Yeah, so it just put it over the bar. Um, the third power bank converted some of the energy that this thing was generating. So this is wired around the place, goes all the way over here to there, and from this battery bank it goes back to here, which is where the old junction was with power plant A, or solar array A. This powers the lights and things that are in the basement, and it also goes to the front. This gun is still powered by the other by solar cell, the solar cell A, or solar power bank A. But this one, which hooks up to that light, comes over here to this, and then it comes back to this gun. This is the only gun that's being powered on the C power bank. This just wires basically around, and then it connects up to the fence there, and it goes all the way around the building from there. In my first incarnation of this, I only had enough juice to get the power to the corner up here during the daytime. My solar cells, I just didn't have enough solar cells. It would go all the way here and then nothing. But at night, my batteries have significantly more power than my solar cells do at the time. It was able to basically convert to power up the rest of it all the way around. So at night I was fully secure. Daytime I was only secure to this point. But it's getting better. Like I said, I got to keep going out, doing things, doing missions. Oh yeah, I forgot I had a gun here too. Um, those two, yep, and then the one that's here. Okay, that covers my power systems. Now let's take a look at some of the other cosmetic stuff. So I replaced the. If you looked at the last video, this thing was disheveled. It was missing corners, missing pieces. I had replaced them with metal blocks or other shapes like these to fill them, and these were okay. But the metal blocks have that ugly. I don't know why the metal blocks have such ugly ass. That it looks like a weird shipping bin type of thing. But anyway, that's what this looked like, and it was really ugly. So that's kind of one of the reasons why I went in and used the paintbrush, found the texture that I wanted for the metal, and painted it so I got it to a look. Some of it I left alone because I kind of like that rusted metal, but the rest of it I cleaned up. Um, Another project I did a couple of weeks ago, I decided I wanted to be able to have an easy access over the top of all the ductwork. I don't want to get around the ductwork. It adds character to the building. So I built a little ramp over it. Kind of a pain. I decided to make it 2 wide instead of 1 wide. It looks more realistic 2 wide. A lot of trial and error. The stupid things don't line up correctly, but that's not my fault. That's just the way they're designed. Um, but I built it up and over using the building blocks. So when I made a mistake, it was easy just to pull it up and replace it. And then I upgraded it using the hammer to wood. And then this back area, I really like the way this turned out. Um, I made this nice chain link fence. These are 4 wide, kind of a pain because the ones that have a post, this is 1 block. Then there's ones without the post, just with the top bar. That's 1 post or 1 block, 2 blocks. The middle just has the chain link without any of the bars at all. So it was constantly having to change what the fence was. I had to build a lot of fences. So I got the whole thing wired or around, and it fit just inside the thing perfectly, beautifully. Put some gates in. I fixed my ladder so now I can use access my ladder again. I called it stairs in the last one. I'm always getting my stairs and my ladders confused. Um, I decided to put. I used the plywood, the building block thing, and built a kind of a roof overhang on one of them. I intended to put the chemistry station out here, but it turns out it's not wide enough. You wouldn't think so. This thing is huge, but it requires space on the ends of both of it, and I didn't want to start tearing things down and fixing my fence because everything fit perfectly. So this is just waiting for something to be put in there. I like the way that looked. Here's an example of one of the textures for the shingles. I put that on top. Looks nice. Put in another gate over here, so if you ever needed to access the ducts and all this stuff, you didn't have to jump over the fence. I like that. I like those. It just looks so nice. This looks perfect. You know, they went out and they found this stuff and they put it in here. I didn't want to put any extra fencing on the bottom part. I wanted to put a gate here, but it wouldn't let me put it because of the stupid little step thing, which is fine. The double over, it looks fine the way it is. So I'm perfectly okay with that. I reinforced my back wall again, gave it another row, big concrete. I just wanted it up a little bit more than the other one. Now it requires the Zeds to get up a little higher to get here. Oh, they also drove their way through back here and were basically attacking me from behind. I wasn't even realizing it. I was busy. I think I was busy doing some. Oh my God, they broke my door. That I didn't know. I'm going to have to fix that. Ugh, great. Little jerks. That was a perfectly workable door. Um, yeah, they did all sorts of damage back here, so I decided to put another layer of concrete on the whole outside of the wall. So, again, just as a deterrent. I did not realize they had broken my wall, though. I'm going to have to fix that. I already did the concrete reinforcements there. All right, so I think that's it back here. This is another one of those little buildings that I had to fix before. I didn't like the look of it. Now I gave it a nice little paint job. I replaced that metal. I had to replace one of these because it was broken, um, of the ductwork. I didn't just put a block in there either. The block that's there is actually a duct block. It's steel. It looked bad, but it was hollow. Not that it really matters. I could have just put a full block there. Then I gave it the paint job to make it actually look like it's duct work, which I really liked. I had to do another one over here um, that also had to be replaced. I think that's it for topside. Oh yeah, I also added in 2 more dew collectors. I like having 3. It gives me a nice big bunch of them. And until today, this thing was basically just a plywood, the building block outer frame of a building I intended to finish. I wasn't really sure what I was going to do with it, um, because it pretty much just had this big thing in the middle of it, and I didn't want to get rid of it again because I liked the look of it. But I decided to finally finish it before I made this video, so I went through and I converted most of it to wood. I created a whole panel here in metal because I like the reinforced look of it. Earlier this week, I replaced the old cobblestone with some concrete stairs. I still like that. I haven't done anything different with my garden. It's just doing what it's doing. I intended to get some kind of a. I want this to look like a little smokestack type of thing, and I'm going to give it a metal look, I think. But I'm not exactly sure. I'm having a hard time finding cylinders that match this exact size. The last spotlight, I just put on a little metal uh, construction thing because basically I already had the guns in the corners, so I needed an extra spot, and I didn't want to build another pillar. So, all right, I think that handles the top side. I love the way this building looks, though. It looks nice and reinforced. I thought about putting windows up above, but I don't have a floor up there or anything. So basically, all this was, I decided once I made a decision to make my stairs down, um, I built a nice staircase down there using building blocks because I wasn't sure if it was going to be final. And then I kind of finished it, and I replaced some of the scaffolding stuff with platforms, and I'll get down to that in a second. So I put in some windows. Otherwise, it's just a big open room. Like I said, I just finished this up less than an hour ago. Um, I mean, I could get rid of all this excess crap in the middle, the ductwork and stuff. I'm thinking about getting rid of the little air conditioner top and maybe putting a series of ducts that go up to the little fireplace thing. But I don't know. I'm not. Nothing's set in stone yet. You can't really use the room though. All of the blocks for the walls they extend, so I can't put anything up against this wall. I can't put anything on the wall. Everything is going to be floating a whole block out. So really the only thing I can do anything with is this interior space, like where this plant is. I can put stuff in here. So it's really not even a usable space. It's just here. So I'm seriously considering getting rid of all of this ductwork stuff so I can actually convert this into a usable room of some sort. But anyway, let's head downstairs. This is one of the few rooms that this part of the building is one of the few I still have. I'm still not exactly sure what I'm going to do with it. This is my garage area. I got my bike and my motorcycle from my other base and brought them over here. So this is what I had built my little staircase out of. I had to visualize, okay, I need stairs going down, I need to go across the wall, and then another set of stairs. Turned out okay. But these things are hollow on top, if you notice, this block of wooden frame. So I couldn't use that here. I wanted it to make it look like it was actually a wooden floor. So I found some trusses or something, whatever they are, that looked like they could support something, and yet they had a side that could be, this platform. I would like to have had some railings on here because it looked a little more safety oriented, like you wouldn't just have these open staircases. It'd be kind of treacherous. Uh, but that ends up making it kind of truncated and it gets harder to use, and I'd rather just walk right off and go do my business. So this room I haven't done a whole lot with. These are still here from the original bookstore, but I put in a set of lockers to fill the one that was destroyed in between. I like the way that looks. My other working garage door is there. Got a nice little lounge area here. Haven't done anything with it. I'm intending to put some kind of a TV or something over there. It's a nice little room though. I could wall this off, turn it into its own room. I've thought about that. I'm not sure if I will or not. Because, I could turn this into an extra bedroom or something. I don't know. Because that's why I have the double doors here. And there's like this. This is kind of like a hallway I'm intending to use as a hallway. So I wanted to, I don't know. I'll put a wall here. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll put a wall here. Maybe I won't. I don't know. It seems kind of silly to have all these doors on the one side. But I put them in because I'd rather have them. and not need them, then have to put them in later. Because if I don't want to, if I decide I don't need the wall, I'll just get rid of it. Or don't need the door, I'll just get rid of it and fix it, replace it with the old wall. This is all stuff I constructed. So I put in, there's a pillar here I had to work around. That's why it sticks out a little bit. This was all building blocks across. Um, and once I got it finalized and got it to look the way I wanted it to look in terms of its shape, because this is what it looked like before. It just all of it looked like that, and I can just push my Y button and go ahead and pick that up. But I want that to look, whatever. Um, Once I got this, so it was shaped the way I wanted it, I replaced it. So I upgraded the bottom two up to concrete, I believe. So I upgraded the wooden blocks to wood, which would look like this, and then I upgraded that to cobblestone, and then I upgraded the cobblestone to concrete. So this is not going to be easy if the Zeds ever got in this far. They're going to have to go through concrete to get at me, or the steel doors. But everything above the bottom two blocks is wood, so it looks just like this. And then I gave it a paintwork to match the old um, bookstore decor design aesthetic. So yeah, I have the green on the bottom. I got that yellow stripe going through, and that's pretty much the way this entire room goes. So the checkout area has been converted into a large kitchen area. This space has been converted into a meeting space or maybe a dining hall, whatever. It's got big tables. The entryway, I intend to be its own little room. It is the only part that uses a double green pattern. I'm going to have to replace that little section there with green. Actually, I could do that right now. I can show you how some of these work. Paint surface. Actually, I don't even need to do that. I can do the texture picker there and paint that and that. Then, if I want to go across the top, I could go rope, boop, boop, boop. There we go. I'm still intending to maybe turn one of these open spaces into a wall and just wall it off and leave the other one as a door, or put a door, an actual physical door in. Because you don't need two. It's kind of overkill. It's just empty space in here though. So, like a lot of the other rooms, I can't put things up against the wall here. If you see a picture on a wall, that means the wall that block is going the other direction. So I can't put a picture on this side because this thing is the edge. The edge over here is out here in space someplace. So this entire wall over here, again, I can't put things up against the wall. There's the pillar that I had to work around. I think that worked out okay. Um, yeah, that looks all right. I left the original cobblestone that I used to fill this hole because I liked the way it looked, but I put a door in it just to have an extra door so I can move in and out. Oh yeah, by the way, I turned off spawns for this recording because the last video I kept getting interrupted by zombie attacks, so that's why there's no zombies out there. I'm doing that strictly because I didn't want to get irritated and distracted. Turn this into a little lounge area. I got some couches. This is where I put my chemistry set. I intended to put it out there under that little roof thing outside, but it just, again, it required this massive amount of space. I put in a double beaver box safes. Can hold whatever I want. Right now I'm not really utilizing them. I just put some of my chemistry stuff in there. I have a couple of these water coolers, and I fill them up with the purified water once I have them made. So that's what they're there for. I left some of the bookcases in, more for aesthetics than anything else, because you can't exactly physically put things on them. This is what would happen if I decided to replace them with like fake ones. So it looks like there's books there. I did put in some lockers over here. I liked my mismatched chairs. Looks like we scavenged them from different places, so they're not all identical. The bar stools all are identical because I don't know. I was getting tired of having to change their colors, and it would look a little too gaudy. But I love the way this looks. It really does look like a nice little bar. Got a big refrigerator here. I'm not utilizing any of this stuff at this time. I'm just concentrating on making it look right. But I got some coolers there as well because, again, this is like where you put all your cool stuff. I got myself a sink again with the textures that I wanted. Sink on top. Left the bookshelf that was there. This space, which had been destroyed, I converted it with some blocks. Put the wall ovens on the outside and some stove tops. So again, it turns it into a nice like restaurant style cooking station. Microwave there. I put in a little wooden table because this part was broken as well. Again, cabinet space that you could put your pots and pans and ingredients and all the other kind of stuff. But I left all the signage up and everything, so this is still the bookstore. I put in a little hanging plant. Serve anybody that comes up. It's. I think that came out really nice. I haven't done anything with the floors, but if you notice the walls, I did. The back wall is all natural. That's all what was there. This whole wall was, again, I started it off as mostly building blocks and concrete. The bottom all the way around is concrete. Some of it goes all the way up. Like I might have a pillar here that's all concrete, but most of this above is just wood. In some spots it might be cobblestone. I didn't change it, but I painted it so it all looks so it matches. Probably wouldn't look like this if we were actual survivors here. We would have probably just gone with something a little more natural. But and that wall I painted with the green lines extended. Again, that's should have been there. But I thought it looked pretty good. The whole place kind of came together. It's got a lots of space. Everything makes logical sense. Other than not really knowing what I'm going to use this interior space for yet. Put in some cubicle type shelves, little like cubby hole things. I replaced the big concrete. A lot of the concrete I replaced with cinder block looks because I just love the way this looks. The all it is a cosmetic paintbrush pattern, but because if you were going to replace that, wall off that space, you wouldn't do it with solid block of concrete. That would be impossible. You would do it with cinder blocks. It'd be so much faster to do it this way. So this looks a lot more natural. Then after I had the whole thing built, I put in a door so I could access my little area. Back here, I haven't done anything. The only thing I did was clear out some bookshelves over here and put in a second couch. Because again, this is a kind of nice space. I could wall this off and turn it into another little apartment. The kiddie zone could be converted into another apartment. It's just a question of replacing the damaged bookshelves with proper walls. You could subdivide this entire thing up and make all sorts of little apartments, but I haven't gotten that far yet. I don't know if I will. Again, I replaced the concrete block that was up there that I used to fix a hole that the zombies had broken through, and replaced it with a cinder block face. I put in the vending machine, the thing that I can put stuff in here and sell it to other people who play my game, next to the working vending machines. Speaking of, I should buy some. Oh, actually, I don't really want any of that stuff. Okay. And the working vending machine here. I put in a little open table space there. Haven't done anything new with the bathroom since last time. I just finished putting in these little bookshelves and painting them, giving them a different look than the other ones. It's like a redwood style. These were a pain in the butt. So this is just a wooden shelf that's given a look. It's called the like full bookshelf, and it's just a wooden face on it. Then you go through and you paint it, so it looks like it's got books on it. The problem is that these are aligned to the bookshelf itself, the block itself. If you put the block in there upside down, then the books get painted upside down. And the number of times I did this upside down, I had to destroy the block and start over. Oh, pain in the butt. Make sure you know what you're doing before you build too many of those. I put in a second shower head here. Other than that, I haven't done anything in this room. This room, I also just got done upgrading it, making it look like it's a little more usable. Oh yeah, by the way, I took out the washer and dryer that were in here and I put them back in this room. Replaced this whole wall, or I painted this whole wall to look like cinder blocks, because again, it looks a lot more natural that way. Washer dryer next to the little wash tub here. I thought that looks more like a laundry room. And then while somebody's doing the wash, we got a nice little kitchenette here. Again, this could be an apartment. There was only one shelf left on the wall, and I just got done replacing them and painting them, so it looks like it's authentically crappy shelves. Put in a dishwasher. My other big kitchen doesn't have a dishwasher. I only had one corner of this couch left. Um, I had a one piece that was leather, and I placed it on one side, and I'm fine with it looking mismatched. Then I went back and built the one that matched the original one. So that's why, if you're salvaging pieces, this is what it would look like in zombie survival land. it's it's mismatched things. Of course, the TV doesn't work or anything, but this is a little entertainment room. Like I said, if you're doing laundry and you just want to hang out, that's where you can do that. I think that's about it. I did do some cosmetic stuff with my other with the police station, but it's not nearly as significant. Like I said at the beginning of the video, this is supposed to go the other direction. Well, I'm gonna have to work on that. I don't know why that's going backwards. I do not want it in that direction. I wanted the door there because you need to be able to have access to the turret and reloading it and stuff instead of having to come out on the ledge, but whatever. I'll have to figure that out. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what else I'm going to do with that space. This is something else I'm going to do something with in the future. I'm going to get rid of the cinder blocks or the cobblestone blocks that are in there. I might get rid of all the concrete ones, to be honest with you. I don't like that they use half blocks all the time because I can't place anything on top of them without making them float in space. So I might just turn my cobblestone into concrete and replace the rest of them, or at least the cross in the middle, all with concrete blocks. Maybe give them a texture. I don't know. I should put a fountain or something in there. Otherwise, I'm pretty happy with the way it's going. I want to put more guns out there. Oh yeah, and I didn't mention this. So after doing all of that and getting the power thing, now I put in these lights, and now I'm having power problems. So I have another power bank ready to start up. It's currently not being used. There's no batteries here, but this is going to be its battery bank. This might end up taking over um, the defenses on this side of the building, um, which will relieve some of the power from these. It's a question of finding the right balance. How many things I want to designate to this, and how many things I want to designate to that. Because I know I need to. I've been putting up some light bulbs in some of those rooms downstairs. I didn't show you that, but they're not hooked up yet. I put in a. I was going to put a light in here, but I couldn't find a space to put it. um, I put in some. Those are lights that I put in as opposed to the ones that were here by default. So these things are capable of being wired up and turned on. Right now they're not. If I turned off my light, this is what it looks like in here. So I really need to get these hooked up um, to light the place up a little bit. I put a little light bulb there. It's not hooked up. Um, I put some, I think, above some of these doors. I'm not sure. Thought I did, but maybe I didn't. But I have a bunch of light bulbs, and I need to find the best places to put them. I don't want to waste them by putting them someplace I didn't want them and then destroy them later. Uh, just so I have a little more light in the place at night. Not that I spend a lot of nights here, but still, it should be a little more realistic. So anyway, this thing is I'm gonna end up using this to power up whatever defenses I have on the south side of the building. Um, Leaving this one to power all the things that are basically facing the west, including all the lights and all the guns. And then the A power, this one will still power everything over on the right side because I have more guns over here than anything else, as well as the power indoors. Everything that's powered in, like these two, basically these three buildings now on top, um, and everything down below except for the vending machine laundry area, which is powered by power cells from the third power cell bank. And that's going to continue to power the fence and that room down there. But other than that, I think I'm set for the next wave of changes. I don't intend to have anything major after this unless I decide to actually put in some kind of a building or something over here. I don't know. I could put in a little landing pad. I did that with the other one. I painted a concrete H for my little gyrocopter landing space, but I don't fly those things. If I flew the dumb things, if their flight characteristics weren't completely garbage, I would use them a lot more. And I would fly back and forth between these two bases instead of driving, and driving between them is a pain because it's not really a short route. I think that's it. I think I've covered all the bases. I think everything that I've upgraded in the last month has been covered. Usually I forget something, so I'm kind of buying time here, trying to think, is there anything else that I did? I managed to do a mission on the hospital back here, and it fixed my fire escape. And then after I did a 7-day survival thing there, another one of those stupid bloater things blew up and took out up the top portion. So once again, I'm going to need to fix it or do a mission there to have it manually fix it. But other than that, nothing new in the neighborhood. I like this. I really like the design things you can do with this game. The ease of being able to do the cosmetic changes with the paintbrush are really nice. Um, Now that I've done it, like I said, that was the last thing I had never done. I just assumed all I was doing with the paintbrush was giving it a, colored paint job. Oh, yeah. See that? See why this thing is colored that way? That's using this stupid paint roller tool. It just creates a blob of color over multiple planes and it discolors so much. That's off too. Ugh, how did these get off? So I want to get back onto that paintbrush or that one. There, fixed. I made a mistake there early. See, and this is over here isn't right either. There we go. Anything else really screwed up? No, I think that's it. It uses a lot of materials, I'll say that much. That's why I don't think you should worry if you're playing this game for the first time. Just get yourself a down and dirty survival base. There's no reason to do a lot of building. Build up your reserve, build up your resources. The only reason why I was able to fortify this thing is because I had massive amounts of concrete backlogged. And once I made enough concrete, it was just like plump, 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 plump. It filled it all in. But the concrete is very manual intensive. It takes a lot of resources to get that because you're not finding concrete everywhere you're looking. The raw concrete, the raw cement that you need to make it. Um, but once I had enough of it, I was like, oh, this makes this so much easier. I just blocked it all in, and it turned out I had just enough to get it all done with cobblestone covering up whatever I couldn't. Um, it had a lot less natural defenses than the police station because without me walling in everything between all the pillars, this wasn't a very secure building. The Zeds were going to get in all over the place, but because I had such a massive amount of concrete available, I was able to at least create a certain amount of a barrier to entry to discourage them from irritating me every single night that I'm here, or during the day for that matter. Other than I gotta fix that stupid door. Actually, I think I have a garage door. I just gotta install it. Actually, I think the one I have is a wooden garage door. That's not what I want. Nope, nope. Iron 3x2. Let's see if that works. There's the other garage door I got. Steel garage door 3x3. Let's see what this. This will be the last thing I do in this video. Fixing a stupid door I didn't know was gone. Nope. That's just a door. It's a nice door. But it's not what I want. Okay. The garage door isn't exactly great. It's just a household, normal house garage door. I wish I could look up and see if it's going the right direction. I don't want to put it in the wrong way. Yeah, it's going the wrong way. I hate that. There's nothing I can do. Oh, and I can't even open it. What? Oh, heck with that then. It's gonna take forever to take this thing out. I don't understand why it won't go up and down. Must be powered or something. Well, I guess it does. I'm gonna replace it with one of these. Just irritates me it was going the wrong direction though. These are a lot easier to place. Alright, well, with that little goof, I'm going to end this video. Yeah. I think any recent future, if I'm going to record any of my playthroughs on this, any of the ones I'm going to do next will probably be more out in the world, experiencing Zeds, but I don't know. I won't guarantee I'm going to record any. I've had a lot of play experience with this game, so I keep up in it. I got the difficulty up to where I want it. It's not that particularly hard, even though we are in the wasteland. This is not the forest, the pine forest. So this is actually a pretty challenging spot, but I like being in the city. There's so much more I can discover here. It's easier just if I want to have a night where I just go wandering from building to building to building and scavenge as I go. It's a lot better than the little town where the police station is. There's nothing I can do in that place other than scavenge those little houses and buildings there. Yeah, I guess with that, I'm going to go ahead and call it. Thanks for watching, anybody who happens to be seeing this, all two of you. My next video might even be with Battletech. I don't know. I've started a new Battletech play after losing my old one. I've got some other videos in mind. I have some other games I'd like to try and record. But, so I can't guarantee I'm going to be posting anything anytime soon. But if I do, I appreciate anybody who's out there who watches and gives me a thumbs up. Thanks. Bye.